Cool. And it's Peta Day, not Daisy.
Oh, crikey.
I'll
Okay,
give.
because I took that off. There we go. Let me.
I know. I
I
know.
love my job.
There's a,
It's fine.
there's a story. There's a story behind that as well, which I wouldn't
Yeah.
mind weaving in. But anyway.
I was going to say Daisy. Right. Peter Day, welcome to the show. Also pronounced by me as Peta Dayze. Anyway, we were speaking about the Asian lifting in the cup. I did the live stream commentary for the Asia University Cup. That was fun with my pronunciations of names and being dyslexic, and because my brain literally locks up, and I can't. I don't read by following letters. I've learned each word by heart, so that's the challenge. And then
Wow.
doing the Asia Pacific and South Africa Cup in South Africa as well. It's fun, and doing the live stream now, so it's going to be interesting. At Commonwealth and World Masters, it's going to be a lot of fun. But Peter, welcome to the show. Sorry for
We're kind of.
butchering your name.
Thank you. It's
Yep.
okay. We're kind of used to pronouncing Asian and interesting cultures names in
Hmm.
Australia because it's such a multicultural society. Yeah, so we
Yeah.
kind of get exposed to those names quite early on in our lives.
So it is. So it really is a mixed culture.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Aussie.
yeah. Well, I work with my staff is a Kiwi and an Aussie, but
Yeah.
I work for TAFE Queensland, so that's a vocational education and training provider,
Awesome.
the major provider of technician training in Queensland, if not Australia, in fact. And yeah, I'll have to get the plug in.
No, 100%. Go
And
for it. Yeah.
there are so many cultures represented in our workplace. It's really quite extraordinary, as well as with our students. So, you know, international students, domestic students from all sorts of backgrounds and cultures.
Mm.
Yep, learning how to be electricians and plumbers and bricklayers and engineers and yeah,
The
all of that
world,
interesting stuff.
yeah. No, the world, excuse me, the world needs more technicians.
Oh, more tradies, absolutely. Yeah,
100%.
yeah.
My late, excuse me, my late dad always said to me, get something technical behind you. So I spent the first sort of 5 years of my life on a workbench learning to repair televisions, becoming a TV and radio techniche, it was called back in the day, which everyone was just
A
swapping.
technique.
Yep, that was the the terminology. But obviously now everything's just so cheap, you swap it out. But the incredible skill that it
Yeah,
gave me in fault finding has helped me in every
yep.
area of my life. It's the most wonderful thing, and it's a great foundation.
Yep.
So yeah, Sparkies
I
are fun.
totally
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah, I went the radio and TV route because I didn't want to deal with anything over 12 volts.
Yes, then you come across the licensing requirements, don't you?
Yeah, no, at South Africa we don't worry about
My
licensing requirements.
no. I started off my life as a registered nurse. I trained at Royal North Shore Hospital in the years that it was still an apprenticeship. So that'll tell you how old I am.
Yep,
But
same here. Yep.
and like training as a tradie, it's something that is always there as a foundation to step out from in all
Mm.
sorts of areas of life. Um, I I went on to work in accounting, and
Mm-hmm.
then I went
Sure.
on to all sorts of different things. I've worked as a a group fitness instructor for I think it was 16, 17, 18 years. I actually stopped
Sure.
teaching group exercise to start powerlifting in 2015.
Well,
So
group exercises loss is powerlifting's gain. Absolutely.
yeah, well, that was a benefit as well. In that, I'm not afraid about getting up on a platform or up on a stage
Mm.
and performing. So, for a lot of people who powerlift today, that's one of the things that makes them kind of nervous is that they don't want to, they're
Yeah.
nervous about being on show, so to speak. But I can't wait.
No,
I love being a show off.
hang on. Absolutely. It's wonderful. Huh?
Yeah, so I've worked in the fitness industry and been lifting myself
Hmm.
for since I was 25, so about 40 years,
Sure.
with maybe a year or two taken off with my two pregnancies. I've got two lovely boys, one of whom is a power lifter, and
Okay.
in fact, he is the number one son who introduced me to the sport of powerlifting. So, in early 2015, I travelled up to Townsville in North Queensland to watch him compete, and was just struck dumb by how exciting and how interesting and how incredible it was. I've never seen powerlifting as a sport before, if you like. I
Yeah.
was very familiar with bodybuilding. And Bev Francis, I'm not sure if you've heard of her.
Mm,
She was a very famous, and still is a very famous bodybuilder. And I bought her book at the time when I was about
right.
25, and used to get into the gym following her programs in her book. I believe she's still lifting, actually, and
Sure.
powerlifting. But anyway, so about, I kind of mulled over it for ages, and then finally brought it up with my son, and I said, "Oh, look, do you think I'm too old to do powerlifting?" Because at that point I was 56.
Okay. Oh, wow. Yeah.
And he said, "No, no, Mum, it's no, anybody of any age can power lift."
Mm, mm,
So it's like, okay, I found myself a coach, and off I went. So I'm now into my 10th year of
mm.
powerlifting.
Absolutely phenomenal. That's such a lovely story, getting into it through your kids, finding it, but also fitness was always part of the journey. Why is fitness so important
Absolutely.
to you, and how the training so important to you?
Oh, golly. I mean, where do you start? I mean, I've heard all of the wonderful things that your other interviewees have said.
Mm,
In terms of it's a framework, if you like, for well-being.
mm,
It's not just the training itself, with its benefit physically. Of course, it's also the mental aspect. And if you're looking for a sport where it's basically incremental
hmm.
ambition, right?
Oh,
Incremental
I
ambition, isn't
love
it?
that. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a progress, isn't it? You
Yeah.
you you have a plan. You want to get somewhere with a certain number, because we're all fixated on numbers, aren't we? But
The good
but
numbers, the numbers
you
on
know
the bar. Mm,
Well, that first time that you squat 100 kilos, that first time that you bench 60 kilos or 70 kilos, the first time you deadlift 100 kilos, those are all really important numbers. So,
yes.
it's all incremental progress after that. And you can apply that same kind of philosophy and planned progress and progressive overload to every area of your life. I apply these things to the concepts to my workplace.
Hmm.
I'm a senior compliance manager. Basically, I manage compliance contracts, and it's the same kind of approach. You have a goal in mind that you have to plan out how you're going to get there. That it has to be realistically planned. It has to be measurable along the way. And when you think in terms of the work environment, that just works so well in the gym space as well. So for example, I taught Les Mills body pump for
Sure.
crikey, I think it was 18 years. 18 years
Okay.
of Les Mills bodybuilding. Loved
Wow.
it. But the thing about it was, and what really drew me into powerlifting, was that you could never really measure your progress.
Hmm.
It was the same
Yes.
weight on the bar every class. And so to get into a sport where you're supported by your gym community, by
Hmm.
your coach, by your family, to achieve those incremental goals. It's just such a special sport to be in, and I'm not into the aesthetics, the
Hmm.
physical aesthetics. At the moment, I'm fat as butter, and because I'm
Only
going to
thing
be
that matters
competing
is how does it affect the numbers on the bar? Are they going up?
100%. And
There we go.
I need every kilo underneath me
Yep.
to do what I can with the girls in my age and weight class. So who are all very strong women. It's all well and good to be a big fish in a little
Mm.
pond nationally in Australia, but when you step onto the international platform, you just realise very, very quickly, little fish, big pond.
Yep. It's like
And
you
this
get
is
there and you go, I have to eat. This is ridiculous.
yes, yes. And at the
Mm,
moment, it's hilarious. I mean, I love
mm.
food, but at the moment, I'm just like, oh, I've got to eat this. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, I'll eat it. And I'm just because I know I'm overeating at the moment. I can't
Mm.
wait for the comp to finish and to cut off a few kilos.
Yeah. I mean,
But anyway, so
what
at
a
the moment,
wonderful sport.
oh, 100%, 100%. Um, those it's the whole process, isn't it? And it's
Mm.
the mental game that I really enjoy as well. So obviously there are times when you doubt yourself. We've all been there and done that. But
Mm.
it's your resilience, inbuilt resilience that kind of gets you past that. And you can't build resilience without being challenged. you
Absolutely.
know I've, I've had so many challenges in my life, it's not funny. And one of those challenges, of course, was being diagnosed
Hmm.
with breast cancer last year, 2023. And I'd already registered for a local comp, which was in early June of 2023. So I had a single mastectomy on the 22nd of April last year.
Okay.
And then a mere few weeks later was competing at a local competition to qualify for the Asian Championships in Malaysia at the end of
Hmm.
the year last year. So, and I could, I'll probably tell you anyway.
Yeah.
But it was a real test of mind over matter. For example, the lead-in, the tests that they do, the biopsies that they needed to
Hmm.
take. I
Yeah.
remember one particularly stressful day where I was lying horizontally under the big machine, the mammogram machine, while they do a guided biopsy. So here comes the
Hmm.
needle. and and 7 or 8 of those biopsies, and it was not fun because you're lying on your side and
Yes.
very, very uncomfortable. And that
Mm.
afternoon, I went and squatted 140 kilo single for the first time in my life.
Sure.
I
Wow.
was not going to
Yes.
let it beat me. I would not let it beat me.
That's
And
incredible.
anyway, I had the operation.
No, not yeah.
The
That's I mean that's such an amazing. I'm not letting you get away with this so easily because like with no, forget about the anyway. That's absolutely
Anyway,
incredible. Yeah, and I think that's how valuable of a sport is powerlifting for for this. You know, you spoke about sort of the cardio weight type of movement stuff versus powerlifting, where particularly when you had a little bit of time in it, those challenges like the 140 are very real, and you can focus that energy. I mean, that's it's an incredible sport, and that's such an incredible story. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure. I it's so funny too because after the operation, directly after the operation, the surgeon had challenged me. Actually, she I was the first person that she'd ever had who was basically a sports person.
Mm,
She told me she had a marksman, a woman who was a rifle shooter, and she was saying how she went back into her sport too early, and because with the rifles they
mm,
kick
mm.
you in the shoulder kind of thing, and she went in too early after her mastectomy and got a bit of a bleed. But she'd had absolutely zero experience with anybody with my background and sporting background, and with not, I'm sure, without the same level of sheer dogged persistence and determination. And she challenged me. She said, and she just kind of said it
Mm,
offhand. She said, "Oh, I know the women who are going to do really well post-operatively is when I walk into the post-op recovery room immediately after surgery, they have their arm above their head."
sure.
And I thought, right.
You're okay.
so, so the first thing I did
Arm up.
was to get that. And 5 days, 5 days, 3 days, 5 days
Mm,
later, I was
sure.
doing very gentle banded pulls. I'm lucky enough to have my own home gym.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing banded pulls to get that thoracic extension and shoulder movement back.
Mm,
5 days post op, I still had the drain in, and I was doing body weight squats. 7 days post op, I was still with the drain in. I was doing 70 kilo SSB squats. I did. I had a belt that I could stick all the way over my shoulders and attach to a deadlift bar, and
mm-hmm.
I was doing 50, 60 kilo deadlifts 7 or 8 days post op
Sure.
without hanging onto the bar, right?
Mm,
So
mm,
that was the only restriction that the surgeon had for me, was that she didn't want me straining the suture line. So I was very, very careful there.
mm, mm.
Um, bench press came back very, very slowly. I started off with 3 kilo dumbbells,
Okay.
and my goal at that competition, because Nicholas, I was determined I was going to still stick to that competition that I'd registered well before I knew I had breast cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And
Sure.
my goal at that comp was to bench press 25 kilos, so the bar with the collars on. And I ended up bench pressing 65 kilos, um,
What?
squatting squatting 140, and
Mm,
which was the equal world record at the time, and deadlifting 167.5. I might also tell you that as soon as the drain came out on the 15th day post op, on the 16th day post op, I was in the gym,
mm-hmm.
and I deadlifted 150 kilos off the floor,
Sure.
just to the top. I put some bumpers on,
Mm-mm.
so just to the top, and then I just let go of the bar, and, because it was too painful to follow the bar down and get that
Mm. They
jarring on the
jerk, yeah.
floor. Yeah, I could feel that in the suture line. So, and 17 days post op, I squatted 120.
And then went on to equal a world record. I mean, there we go. I think it's
Yeah,
the mindset is,
crazy. I mean, it's
yeah,
crazy.
it's awesome.
It's crazy, but that's one of the great things about
Mm,
powerlifting. I don't
yeah.
know that I don't think I've ever heard anybody kind of observe this before, but when you train really hard, when you put your body through the hard yards during training, you
Mm.
have to know what it's like to handle pain. You have to
Oh
know
yeah.
that,
Yes.
yeah, you don't know what your body's limits are, but you do push through and you do lift with pain, um, even if it's just muscular pain. But it it trains you to be to
Tough.
function,
Yes.
to do well with pain. And a lot of people think that post-operatively, they depends obviously on the operation. Oh my God,
Yeah.
110%. But when you're rehabbing something, and I have rehabbed a
Mm-hmm.
few things over the 10 years is that you have to work to a certain pain level, a certain pain threshold. You can't
Yeah.
hope to rehab anything, whether it's surgical or whatever,
Mental,
without expecting
emotional, whatever. Yeah.
yeah, without accepting some degree of
Mm.
pain. So it's like, well, the exercise physiologist might say, well, I want you to do this exercise, and I don't want you to exceed more than a 3 out of 10 pain.
Mm.
So I really do think this,
Sorry,
and this is
for
very,
for a power
very,
lifter, that's a tough one.
yes. But it's going to sound very judgmental, but
Mm.
this is one of the things that I really see with powerlifting, in comparison to Gen Pop,
Mm-hmm.
is that our recovery from injury and surgery is just so much quicker,
Yeah.
because we are used to the pain thresholds. We're used to working around things. You don't stop training 100% when you're injured. You find ways of working around it.
Yeah. I think that's such a valid point. And from this story, there's two important lessons that I hope people can take away from it. There's the mental aspect, the mental development, the mental strength from dealing with pain. But there's also the physiological development. So when you're lifting, when you're training, you're increasing that capillary development. You're growing your lymphatic system. You're growing your vascular system. You're growing your respiratory system. All of these things that get nutrients to the injury site, get sort of all of the dead tissue out of there, get the toxins out. You're moving synovial fluid around your joints. You're really helping the body heal much, much quicker than you would if you didn't have the movements. And I think it's like it should almost be compulsory for people over the age of 40 to start powerlifting just so that they can heal quicker. Maybe that's something we could see the medical aids or medical insurance get involved with, where if you train, you recover quicker and it's less visits to the to the rehab centers. It's absolutely vital. Such a wonderful, wonderful lesson.
Yeah, and I agree 100% with you. In Australia, we're very lucky that our exercise physiologists are, they're starting to come in. I think they're coming into a phase where patients can claim on. No, that's not right. I can claim my
Mm,
exercise physiology on my own health insurance. So,
brilliant.
it's not, you don't get much back,
Mm.
but
You can claim, but it's like a parent saying you can
but
ask.
it's but it's I think it's a reflection. The health funds
Mm,
recognise the value of exercise physiology and physiotherapy for recovery for all sorts of things. And
yeah.
you mentioned before the mental aspect of it, which of course every one of us who lived
Mm,
has had an injury. I would probably challenge anybody who says I've never been injured, but even if it's just a kind of little niggle, is that
yeah.
if it's threatening your participation in the sport, if it's threatening your training
Oof.
in any way,
No.
it's
Attack it. You attack it
it's,
with everything that's in
I'm
you.
not
Yeah.
going to let it
Yeah, no, because it becomes another goal. It becomes another target, like the 140 squat, or your first 100 kilo squat. Absolutely, and it just the those daily or weekly, monthly, yearly targets that we aim for, that helps us build that resilience. And I think
win.
excuse me.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yep.
resilience is something that we can develop very early on in life or later in life. So, but when we start to develop resilience, resilience needs to be trained and it needs to be practiced. You can't sort of develop resilience when you're 20, getting over something, and then expect it to be there completely. Sorry, the air in Joburg's gone a bit musty. Sorry, it's a little bit dusty
Where's
out
your,
there today.
I expected to see you with a caffeine IV line, Nicholas.
There we go.
Yeah.
second double espresso for the morning. So yeah, and the more I drink, the brighter the jacket gets. So you gotta keep pushing yourself and testing yourself. And the wonderful thing with getting older in the sport is all of the divisions that we can move up into. And as you say, they're full with really, really strong people. It's not like, oh, I've reached Master 2 now and I can slack off. Maybe the qualifying criteria has got a little bit lighter for medaling and stuff on local comps, but not the competition.
No, and because the pool of women my age in
Mm,
Australia has been reasonably small up until this year, and next year it's going to be bigger,
mm,
is that I've always looked to the international platform for competition, and always referencing open powerlifting, not just IPF
mm,
lifting, but
mm.
there are very, very strong lifters across drug tested federations across the planet. So that's really the way that I've kind of judged my own progress, because
Yes.
you know people will say comparison is the thief of joy, right? But when you are a competitive athlete, and I am a competitive
You are a
athlete, I
competitive
am
100%
very competitive.
competitive.
and uh, and so it's inspiration for me.
Mm.
So if I see a 65-year-old woman in a drug tested fed who's squatting 145 kilos, it's like, well, why can't I?
Absolutely.
And and I know it works the other way, because there's people are always telling me how, oh God, I hate this expression. Oh, you're
Mm,
so inspirational. I hate that. However, if it is a call to action from that
hmm.
person, if I
Yes.
inspire somebody to go and try to deadlift 120 kilos or squat 100 kilos, then that's fantastic that we're sharing the those incremental ambition goals
Yes.
across a sport, where women and older women can participate just as successfully as younger people can.
Yep.
Then I'm really happy, because none of us getting any younger.
Nope. We're not getting any younger, but we are getting stronger.
We are. I mean, I can't believe how strong there are the women in my age class. Those young whippersnappers who turn 60 this year.
Yeah, yeah. The juniors.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe we should start at Master 1 will just become sub junior, then Master 2 sub junior, then then junior when you hit Master 4, and then you can go into open at Master 5 again.
Oh, exactly.
Yep.
And do you know, Nicholas? It's I know where the other feds have the 5-year age categories for
Mm.
masters, and until you're actually there, being an athlete, and competing at a certain level, you don't really appreciate just how much that 5-year
For
difference
sure.
makes. So between 60 and 65, there's you really start to fight to hang on to your strength, and you really
Mm.
do need to bring in your mental game a whole lot more. Um,
But on that
um,
point, it does almost force you, it forces the athlete to up their game, to not slack on anything. And maintaining your strength means you're maintaining every area of your life, which is going to add to the quality of your life.
yes, indeed. Yes,
So are
indeed.
you saying
And
you'd like to
you know that.
stretch out the age groups to 20 years? Getting into
I
trouble
tell
here.
you, it really helps to have a coach who kind of
Mm.
not only appreciates how tough it is to kind of get older,
Yep.
but also does not cut you any slack.
Yeah, that's so important. Absolutely. May even cut, it's like reversing the amount of slack that you get cut. It's more pressure.
Yes, yes, indeed. So it's kind of this balance.
Mm,
I really appreciate my coach Kelly Mann from Perfumotion.
hmm.
Um,
Give a
in
shout
that,
out. Let's
you
go.
know,
Let's come on.
oh, Kelly Mann, Perfumotion. Hi, Kelly.
Hey, right, and hang on, Kelly.
So yeah, no, she doesn't cut me any slack. In fact, one reason why I needed to shift the meeting time, and I
Mm.
forgot to say thank you for that, by the way,
Oh, yeah,
Nicholas,
pleasure.
was because I had to do because I'm flying tomorrow morning. I had to do my last heavy squat and deadlift session
Okay,
today. So
awesome.
I did a full
Cool.
SBD session today,
And you look
and
so fresh. Phew. I'd be like this.
Mate, you should have seen me. I was
Yeah.
so tired. It's a new level of tired.
Sheesh. So you mentioned you're flying. Where are you flying to?
Flying to Johannesburg,
Mm.
or Sydney first,
Yeah.
then Johannesburg, and then
And it's
hopping
a
on
place
that
called
little
Sun
bus,
City. Yeah. What?
and then down to Sun City.
Okay. Any reason you're coming out to Sun City you would like to talk about or share? Hmm. Ah.
Well, it's my eighth
Hmm.
international competition, and it's the IPF Masters World Championships
Yep.
with a combination of the Commonwealth Classics Championships. Thank God we only have to live once.
Yeah, I remember those discussions talking with the planning of the comp. Yeah, it was very, thank God.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
It's made it fun because we're running three separate scoreboards, but that'll be okay for the streaming. We'll manage it. It's going to be a blast.
Oh wow, I'm so looking forward to it. I mean, the level of competition is
Yeah.
just out of this world. I am really hoping that if I don't stuff anything up, is that I can get a bronze medal overall.
Right.
I'll be really happy to bronze. Mate, the two girls who from England and Sweden, they've both got
Mm.
90-kilo bench presses, and I've got a very poor bench press. So it's going to be just a little bit tough to catch up with
Mm.
20 kilos. So yeah,
Also,
so it's really me against me.
yes, but how much fun's it going to be in the back with them?
Well, I don't know, because
Mm.
quite frankly, I put my headphones on, and
Okay.
I lock in
Mm.
and really zone in. To me, I'm not really,
Okay,
very sociable.
you're there to do what you got to do, and then there's the sociability afterwards.
100%. Yep. So I hope they stick around for the banquet, but
Mm.
yeah, because
Banquet's going to be
I think you
epic.
have to. Oh goody, oh
Mm.
goody.
Mm. It's
What's
always
on
a
the
blast.
menu?
I don't have the menu yet. Let me go see if I can do some digging. But the breakfasts are magnificent. The food at Sun City is great. There's great pizza. There's great burgers. There's a lovely restaurant right outside the venue. The venue's fantastic. It's going to be phenomenal. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, I can't wait. And I heard you
Yeah.
talking about a Greek restaurant too. So
Yes. So
that's
I
going to
did.
be
Yeah,
definite.
I tagged them in a post and I said, I'm warning you guys. If I can't get in, I want my own table if I can't get in. So the fish is great, the sushi is great, but the pizza there is absolutely fantastic. It's in the Cascades
Wow.
Hotel. So you literally you walk
Okay.
over a bridge over the pool and you're surrounded by water and these fountains and it's such a lovely place and it'll be warm so the windows will be open. It's just a lovely place to have dinner and relax and chat. And then you can go up to the deck above at the hotel and you overlook these beautiful gardens and that you can walk around as well and just sit out in the warm African sun and just relax. It's very special. The restaurant's fabulous.
Are you telling me then, in effect, that that my goal to lose some weight post competition has to only start when I
Start
get
back
back
in
home?
Australia, 100%. There's no real point, Peter. There's no real point in trying to do that earlier. So,
No, look, it is going to be a holiday for
mm,
me
fantastic.
from a pretty stressful and demanding job role.
Mm.
I did want to kind of travel a little bit by myself after, but it's probably not a wise idea when you're a single white woman. I don't think so.
So we're like Cape Town, Johannesburg, or
I had my eyes set on that wonderful Cradle of Man exhibit,
yeah,
which is
yes,
what northwest of Joburg,
yeah, yeah.
um,
It's
as well as
close.
a couple of 50Ks.
Yeah, that's close. That's like 2 blocks in. It's the same traveling time, I'm sure, as going a block and a half in Sydney during rush hour, as we have in Santon here.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, and 50Ks is nothing to us
yeah.
in Australia
I was going to,
because
yeah,
we're
50
just so.
kilometers. Just popping down to get some milk for you guys. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
sorry,
Anyway,
sorry. No, no.
so
It's from. Sorry, let me say that it's from the gate to the farmhouse. Yeah,
oh yes, yes, or
yeah.
yeah, or the farmhouse to the post box
Hmm.
on the road. Yeah,
So I think
indeed.
on that point, the South African team are wonderful. The ladies are wonderful. The guys are wonderful. Chat to some of them. Tell them your plans, what you'd like to do. I'm sure guys will say, "Well, listen, let's make a date," and they'll go with you.
Oh, right, right.
Hmm?
It's a 3.5 hour trip or 3 hour trip though, isn't it, from Sun City to
Sun City,
Joburg?
yeah. From
Yeah,
2 hours. It's not so bad. So yeah, from the airport
right.
maybe 2 hours and 20 minutes, but usually about 2 hours. It's pretty good.
I I have to tell you, I'm just
Mm,
so looking forward to holidaying in the resort.
yeah,
I've heard so much about it, and
yeah,
you know, it's just so easy to kind of stay in that one location and eat all the good eats and meet up with all the great people and just
absolutely.
just relax. Looking forward to the wave pool and
That's
and a
yeah.
safari. I want to do a safari.
Yep.
Yep.
Safari's right there. It's so easy to do. You book it through the hotel. Sun City really is, and I know people want to come and explore and see South Africa, but the value of Sun City is you want to unwind and relax, and you can hop in a shuttle or you can walk, and they're magnificent walks. It's just a place to relax. The great pools, great water park. It's just a wonderful, wonderful place to be, to hang out and to chill.
I cannot wait.
It's going to be absolutely awesome. So, what I would like to do is book a follow up chat with you. So, maybe either before or after you left. When are you arriving?
Arriving tomorrow,
Okay,
so of
brilliant.
course traveling back in
Mm,
time to
yeah,
arrive in South Africa.
yeah. So you'll be
Um,
back. You'll be here before we start the conversation.
probably, yeah, probably. And I lift on Saturday
Okay,
on
fantastic.
on session three, day one. So yeah,
All right, brilliant. Well,
gets it
we'll
out of the way.
Yeah, we'll be seeing you there. So looking forward to it. And then chatting. Unfortunately, I've got to run. I've got like 8 minutes to go and open up the gym and get everybody started for their Sunday session. So I really do appreciate you as well accommodating us with your time and chatting to us. It was a fabulous, fabulous conversation. I know people that listen
Oh,
to
it's
this are going to
delightful
be
to
able to
meet
take a
you.
lot out of it. Absolutely delightful to meet you too. And looking forward to meeting you in person.
100%. It'll be,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just so exciting. Thank you for driving the excitement too of the competition. It's just been so good. Yeah, well
Oh,
done.
thank you. I really appreciate that. That's been, I wanted to have a build up to this. We need to do this and just going to create interest for the sport, awareness of our sport, get more people involved, and get sponsors understanding the value of getting involved and getting involved now in terms of supporting the coaches and athletes. Because I think for medical insurance companies, medical aids, this is perfect because if once I get a couple of there's a couple of medical aids in South Africa I'm working on and getting them involved. And once they understand the value, it's far better than being out and running. Most of them are runners, the directors and so. It's like no, running is what you do when you don't hear your first bar loaded. That's it, and then when you got your headphones on. It's only running that should be done. So absolutely. But I
I
know
have
we
to
got
agree. I
yeah
have to
we
agree.
yeah we're going to chat a lot longer again on the second one. Sorry that we do have to cut it short, but I have some athletes to go and torture. Speaking of SBD sessions, you'll meet him, the competition doctor Yaniv. He's got a tough one
Do
lined
you
up.
take your jacket off? Do you
Yeah,
take your
yeah.
jacket
The
off?
the jacket comes off, the golf shirt goes on. I am still in my cargo shorts, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, in case anyone was wondering, and barefoot. But I love it. You can pick your
Look,
camera
it's the
frame.
typical Zoom
Zoom
meeting
call.
during
Yep,
the
that's it.
COVID
Yep,
lockdown.
100%.
Business up top and
Yep.
relax down the bottom.
Bottom, yeah, it's like a mullet, it's a business in the front, party at the back. Oh,
Exactly.
thank
It's
you so much for your
just been
time. It's
lovely to
been a pleasure.
chat. Thank you.
Likewise. And
Thank you very much, Nicholas. I'll see you over there.
we'll see you here. Travel safe. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Thank you. Cheers.
Bye. Oh, blimey. Sorry, guys. Didn't realize the broadcast was still going on. Cheers, all.